we're live on all of our different phones. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Did you golf this weekend?
I did.
How did you do?
You know,
It was one of those-
so-so, but
It was one of those days.
improving.
Excellent.
Improving.
You feeling better?
Yeah, feeling a lot better, thank you.
Okay, so what is Norgate Technology?
Norgate Technology is a 24-year-old technology staffing firm. We do both permanent and contract placement. Nationally, we originally started out as a tri-state company, and we are now placing candidates in 18 or more states nationwide. And we specialize in, like I said, both perm and contract placement work. Majority of our contract placement work is long-term, anywhere from 6 months out. And we place at all levels of the organization, from C-level executive type positions, project managers, business analysts. You can see from the list behind me the full gamut of technology and IT type positions. I would say there's probably at least 20 to 25 or more skilled areas and disciplines that we place professionals within.
Okay, and is there a particular market, like area geographically, that you specialize in, or?
Well, geographically, we have a large concentration here in the New York tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, some Connecticut, but we are now, like I said, in 18 different states, and some of the newer technology hubs within the United States in areas of Florida, a couple areas within Texas, Dallas area, or Houston, Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Ohio, North Carolina, Research Triangle Park, and Charlotte and Raleigh are hotbeds for companies now that are looking to move their technology resources to lower cost locations, but keeping them onshore at the same time.
Do you help them with that? How do you help them facilitate that kind of a move when they go to like those types of locations?
Well, the clients typically, I mean, we do help. They ask us maybe for opinions or what the candidate pools are in certain geographical areas that we might have some insight into. But the majority of the clients are out doing their own research, and
they bring you in afterwards.
If they're looking to move to a specific area, they need to make sure that there are sufficient enough technology resources or individuals that have the skill sets that they can get as much local talent as they need to without having to relocate the resources to that specific area.
So now take us through, how did you get started with Norgate? What's the history?
I got started with Norgate. I sold systems and software for about 10 years, and was looking for a change. The hardware business was becoming more and more of a commodity type business, and the company I was with, we sold for many of the large computer manufacturers, the digital equipments of the world, Sun Microsystems, Hewlett Packard, etc. But as technology moves ahead, the pricing of the equipment obviously shrinks, and along with that the margins shrink, etc. And I was looking for a new opportunity, and went to work for a firm that did both recruiting and sold software development projects, etc. And at that firm I ran a group that was both a recruiting organization for the New York metropolitan area, and we also sold project and software development efforts at that time.
Take me through the development of the technology industry since then, and how that sort of changed your view of the business, the needs of the clients, how that's sort of also just changed in terms of general what you can provide to the clients. So.
Well, what's happened over the years, or was happening, I think the tide is changing a little bit now, but over the years, technology changed it always changes quickly. So the goal is to try and for a lot of the companies is to keep their technology as far, as close to the leading edge as they can, because they gain performance and cost benefits from doing so. But then you need to have the resources that are trained and capable of developing software with the newer tools to take advantage of that. And what happened over many years is that, at least back in the 90s, maybe 2000s, Wall Street became a very sexy area for the brightest kids coming out of colleges, and more kids were choosing to go into other fields other than engineering and technology. So the amount of U.S. based American students was on the decline, and other countries were producing far greater amounts of resources that could actually do this type of work, and that led a lot of clients to outsourcing a lot of technology development efforts and support, etc., to Asia and other areas, Philippines, Poland, etc., where they could outsource development efforts and save a significant amount of money in doing so. That was probably the most significant change that's happened over time. Now, a lot of our clients are still outsourcing or offshoring work overseas, but they are doing a tremendous amount of onshoring or nearshoring as well.
And is your focus onshore or both?
Our focus is 100% onshore currently. We currently don't have any of our employees working overseas. Some of our employees do take trips overseas to work on, a specific project, but it's limited.
American or U.S. based
We're
workers.
placing positions strictly in the United States currently.
Got it. And this sign behind you has a whole bunch of different job type descriptions. Is there an area like the first thing that's coming up here is cloud computing, cybersecurity, database design? All of these are all different types of jobs that you specialize in. So when you talk to recruiters at different companies, why do they need your expertise in these types of?
Well, those are some of the cloud, the big data. Those are some of the newer buzzwords and newer technologies, and those.
At the bottom, you have an older one, mainframe.
Those are the areas that are where the resources are in shorter supply. The newer niche technologies where the clients need recruiters and need staffing firms to help them find qualified resources that can come in and be productive for them.
So it's those is it the newer technologies where they need your expertise more, or is it sort of a case by case?
It's a case by case. It's both. I mean, it's some legacy technologies, etc. Clients need resources in, but
does it happen that people sort of leave the legacy? Like if there's the workers in the legacy equipment, do they jump to the higher one and they create more of a demand need?
Well, what happens is I kind of equate computer programmers or architects or whatever, people in the technology field are similar to artists in the sense that they're always looking for creating something new. A lot of the individuals we work with, they don't want to work on maintenance projects. They want to work on newer technology, what's exciting, what's going to help them advance their career going forward, and those are always, what's going to help them grow both, professionally and financially is working on the newer, hotter technologies.
So I know that there's something that you referred to the last time we spoke, which was the three-way win. And that sort of touches on the three-way win, because there is basically, why don't you describe what a three-way win is?
What my definition of a three-way win is, and in the job that we do, we need to find, our client has a requirement, they ask us to try and identify and find candidates that can then do the work for them. So what happens is the client finds a candidate that they like, they hire the candidate from us, we find a candidate, they hire the candidate from us, client's happy, the candidate's happy, and Norgate's happy. So in that case, in all the cases when we're filling these positions, it's a three-way win. We all win. We all have hopefully a good experience with that.
So now let's address the point of that. Like, I guess it's almost like the triangle offense, right? Like,
to some respects,
but there's a triangle there because you have
yes.
three. There's three of you. So
correct.
So you have this triangle, and let's address each point of the triangle. So there's the client point, okay, and what you're trying to do for the client. There's obviously the person who's coming to work. Like, there's different ways of people coming to work, and then there's Norgate. So take me through each one of the three of them, what you provide to each one of the three, and why obviously the center point of this, are one of the points of this triangle. I guess there's no center point in a triangle is Norgate. How does that sort of all work and come together?
Our goal is to both make our clients happy and our candidates happy. The clients obviously have needs. The technology is changing. There's constantly new projects coming on board. There's projects that are either ending or end of life, or didn't work out the way they expected it to, so they may move off of that project. And our goal is to obviously provide quality resources at a fair price, at a market fair price for the clients, and to continually do that. We're in a service business, and we have to make sure that both our candidates are happy and the clients are happy. The number one source of future candidates or ongoing candidates for our business is through our existing employee base. So if our employees are working on good projects and they're happy, they're going to then send their friends to us and refer their friends to us, to try and help find their friends an opportunity that may be attractive to them.
So how many times does that happen? Like, what percentage of the time do you have, like, the people that work with you get referred?
We haven't run statistics over the years, but I would say it's a significant number. It could happen at least in the 50% range, or not. And the lifespan of a programmer, a lot of the technology professionals, they might stay in a job for 2 or 3 years and then look to move because of the technology changing, or a new opportunity with a technology change, or they'll get promoted. We've placed many resources that started out as a junior or mid-level programmer and now are running significant organizations or significant departments within organizations of hundreds of individuals, and we maintain those relationships with these individuals over a long period of time, because they'll come back to us for our continued services.
For your services, when they're in the management position.
Correct. Correct. Mm-hmm.
And so in terms of, like, the third piece of this triangle, which is the customer, how long is the average customer relationship that you have?
We're in business 24 years. We actually have clients that have been with us and continue to do business with us, from our first year, from 1993. And majority of our customers are long-term. We try to provide a service and pride ourselves in our ethics and our reliability, and we might not always have a resource for the client, but the resources that we're going to provide are quality resources, reputable people, and hopefully our clients will continue to come back to us for those resources as they go forward with new projects.
And the size, what types of clients do you have in terms of the size and in terms of the industries that they're in?
We have clients that are ranging we have startup clients that could be anywhere from 10 to 20 in size, and up to the largest banks and companies, and that have hundreds of thousands of employees, and we support those as well. So it's the full gamut of.
And your largest clients are in what industries? Like where?
Our largest clients are in the finance industry, banking and finance.
And so is that like a specialty, and then you sort of grow from there, or?
It has been our specialty, continues to be one of our specialties, and the reason being is over the years these firms continually to hire the largest or significant volume of resources, so that's where the volume is for us. But we do have clients in many other industries, insurance, media.
And you provide basically the same type of service to both industries, or
yes.
Is there specialization like in the finance industry that might not exist in the retail industry?
Well, there's always the domain knowledge that particular people have, so they need to know specifics about a particular industry from an application standpoint. So obviously our clients are, if they're looking to hire people, they're paying us, so they're working with us to find them individuals who are coming in already that have both the technical skills that they need and the business domain knowledge. So that's pretty much what they're looking for from us.
Okay, we're joined now by Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, come on in. Why don't you describe the relationship between?
I'll slide over.
Hey guys, just gonna flip
All
chair.
right.
Grab that chair.
Make room for both of you on the camera. All right.
Hi,
How you doing, Adam?
good. Adam Cohen from Norgate Technology. Nice to meet everybody.
How'd you guys meet?
How did we meet? You have to ask our mom that. And our dad. We're brothers. So we had no choice.
I met him when I was about 6 years old.
Right.
Got it.
Larry's
And when did you
6
meet
years
him?
older. When I remember, I don't really. I guess I was about 2 or 3. But when I came out.
Sounds good. So, what do you have for us here?
So yeah, I do a handful of things at Norgate. Account manager, salesman, recruiter, kind of run a lot of hats here. And just have a couple of jobs that I wanted to discuss.
Sure.
One of them's a QA, quality assurance tester. It's in New York City for a media technology software type company. It's a permanent position. They're really looking for someone with some solid web applications knowledge, experience with some solid debugging tools, and someone who's come from preferably an agile environment. So really doing front end, back end debugging is really what they're looking for. Hands-on, and it's in Midtown in New York City. That's one of the roles.
Okay.
And if I add maybe just something I forgot, maybe some black box and white box testing would be a big plus for the role. And Jira, Jira is something that they're obviously looking for as well. So it's a great company. It's a growing company, and placed a handful of people there over the years. And if you're interested, give us a call. We're excited to talk to you. And
how did they reach you?
How did they reach us? It's a relationship I've built.
How does the people
sorry,
that want to call you?
How does an applicant reach us?
Yes.
They can reach me directly. Our phone number is 516-248-0444, or they can email me directly, Adam, ADAM, at Norgate.com. Norgate is Norgate. So it's Adam at Norgate.com. Or again, my phone is 516-248-0444.
Okay, so we'll take a clip of this and we'll actually put this up with the information that you provided so that people can do that. Now, before we get on to the next thing, let me kind of dig in for the lay people over here who are watching. What does all that mean? like, take me through what this job means to somebody. So, just like, here's the job. Let's just go, if you can go through almost like repeat it, but slowly.
Okay.
What?
Well, it's a permanent position. It's not a contract role, so someone would be hired by the client directly. They'd be
Okay, as
employed.
opposed to, so there's a contract role and a permanent role. Why don't you explain what the difference is?
Right.
between those two?
A permanent role is our client would come to us and ask us to find someone that they can hire directly and be W-2 employee of their company directly.
Okay, as opposed to working with
Right, being a
Norgate.
W-2 employee of Norgate as a consultant on site at a client.
Larry, is there one of these two that you prefer, like for the company, like a contract or like those when you're placing those types of?
No, I mean, we do both. So it's really driven by what our client prefers. So we have recruiters in-house that are more focused on perm placements, and we have those that are more focused on our consulting or contract placement. It's a little bit of a different type of search, and we do also offer our clients the right to hire any of these consultants that they may take from us. So the client may hire a consultant for 6 months or a year and then decide after that time that they really love the person, he fits right into their environment and their company profile, and they've got future projects. They think, this person can really be a long-term contributor to their organization. So they have the option to then offer that particular consultant a permanent placement with their firm, and then they will pay us a fee based on a point of time that the individual's converted to an employee of theirs versus Norgate's.
Now, based on your experience, if you were advising one of your clients and they had a choice of hiring one of these two ways, which way would you recommend that they sort of get started working with you? Should they hire permanent employees at the beginning? Should they do more contract? Which do you sort of see overall as being more efficient and better?
I think it really varies on the client. Depends what stage the client is in, and even what stage the project may be in within a particular client.
Okay.
It has to do with the budgets that the client may have. It might have to do with headcount issues, et cetera, where they can't bring on employees and they may want to bring them on as contractors, so they're our employees, or so it really varies on a case-by-case basis. The nice thing about the try-by thing, it's like you're kicking the tires. You bring in a guy, and if he works out, you can convert him if it's mutually agreeable amongst the parties. And the other benefit is if things change at the client, the individual's not their employee, they can terminate that individual without any issues.
Do they generally have to pay the same amount for both, or is it less expensive to do the try-by because there's less of the...
Again, it depends on the client. Certain clients allocate certain internal dollars, differently for hiring an employee versus a consultant. So there's a lot of other things that go involved with that in terms of benefits and office space and internal dollars that may get allocated for an employee that they don't typically allocate for a consultant. So in a lot of cases, the consultant may be over the long term maybe a little more expensive because you might be paying a higher rate, but you're also trading that off against what the other costs and benefits are. So it really varies by project within a client.
And then it comes into, you have the expertise, like these are, when it's on a try-by type situation, these are people hiring you, they hire you, and the consultants are actually paid by you, is that correct?
Correct. The consultants are our employees.
They're employees of yours. So
correct. Yeah.
Got it.
And a lot of companies, or some companies, will have short-term projects. So that's why they'll want to use a consultant versus hire somebody on a permanent basis. They might have a 3 or 6 month project where it doesn't really make sense for the client to hire somebody full time.
And so back to this, so this job is a permanent placement?
This is a permanent placement. It's again, the client will be hiring them directly, and they'll be on the client's W-2 with benefits and such from the client directly.
From the client.
Versus getting benefits or being on our payroll. That's, I guess, the biggest difference.
Now, one of the things that you didn't mention when you were describing the job, just like from the outside looking in,
Sure.
like not a professional in this industry, you don't mention the salary.
Right.
Is that just because they don't get paid a salary, or they get paid minimum
Well,
wage, or they get paid maximum
salary.
wage?
The clients have, obviously every job is a paid job. It's not a volunteer or an internship. They're getting paid. The salaries vary obviously from job to job, obviously from client to client, for obviously various reasons. So this particular role, it's really, and it's going to be based on what the client feels the applicant brings to the table, and their
so there's like a range.
There's a range, If I had to say a range, probably on this particular job, it's probably anywhere from $75,000 to $85,000 on a base salary, plus a bonus. That's a range for this job. Again, that's a range. It's not set in stone 100%.
And does that go by experience? Does it go by, hey, this guy might not have much, or this woman might not have much experience, but they're really good at what they do? How does that sort of factor into what you?
Yeah, it definitely goes by experience. Sometimes years of experience don't always correlate to what the client, in terms of how quote good someone might be in terms of their skill set. What I mean by that, someone with 3 years might have better technology skills than someone that's been doing it for 6 years. So I don't always look at the years of experience as a factor, or the client might not look at it as a factor of what someone is being paid.
Mm-hmm.
But they, again, they're going to look at their overall experience and really what they bring to the table, and maybe what they could also bring in the future. It might not be current. It might be, all right, this person's trainable, bright, energetic, excited to learn, excited to be here, and there's a spot for them here. And 2, 3, 4 years down the road, we see this person possibly in this level position or moving up possibly. So there's a lot of factors why a client will pay a salary for one person over someone else.
So they would actually be deciding, and this is just this particular company is looking for one person.
One person for this particular role. They have other positions, one or two others that I was going to talk about as well.
Okay.
But yeah, for this particular position, the quality assurance tester, there's one role open. In the past, Norgate has placed other QA people.
So what is a QA person? What are they?
They're quality assurance. They're testing the applications. They're looking at the developer's applications. They're making sure there's no bugs, anything that are defects in an application that's going to be used internally or externally. This particular client develops for their own internal use, but they also sell a service and software product to external clients. So obviously everything needs to be tested and checked before it's released. Usually have developers usually, they call what a release, they're releasing a software. So everything before the release is out, they want to obviously make sure it's 100% tested, so there's no issues or bugs that come back from anybody, from internal or external client.
So in terms of the things you mentioned, what would be sort of the other most important elements of this job?
For this particular job is someone who has tested and worked with web applications and the web applications tools. That's for this particular job. For this QA job, it's that.
Okay, and so what are web application tools? Just again.
Putting on the spot in that.
Sorry. So these are again the tools that people would use to develop
Well, they're not developing. They're the tools used to test the
Oh,
application.
to test the
Exactly,
application.
yeah.
Okay.
And there's a handful of them. There's all different kinds. There's
Oh.
many of them.
Okay,
It's
so
not
they,
one particular. They're not looking for someone that just has X or Y or you know. It could be
it
multiple.
can be
ones.
because
Yeah,
it's
there
that
could be a
type of
few.
thing that changes all the time.
It changes. With some clients, we use one or two, and others would use another one. If you're familiar with one or two, you can probably pick up another one fairly easily.
Okay.
So you just have to really be experienced with, you know, the web applications and have touched it and worked with it and been able to actually go in and test.
Gotcha. What's the next job that you have?
Well, at this client, I have a back-end developer, which is basically they're looking for someone. Again, it's a permanent position, back-end development role. To New York City, again, same client, looking for someone with some C#, ASP.NET, and some SQL Server experience. Those are the key, I guess, 3 ingredients, but the kicker is someone that's worked with entity frameworks is very important. That's a must. So entity frameworks is important. And, you know, not just knowledge of it, but someone that's actually worked with it, you know, touched it, worked with it in another client, and been experienced, you know, have a few years experience with it. Some pluses would be Git, working knowledge of Node, Lodash, Nightwatch is another plus, and as well as any Angular or Bootstrap, which are some of the newer technologies. Amazon Web Services would be another plus as well. So that is a permanent job. Again, that job salary range, my gut is, I don't have a gut, the range is probably anywhere from 140 to, again, 155, 160, again, depending on the value of what the person is bringing to the table. So, and what the client thinks. I don't make, again, we don't decide the salaries. It's the client that's kind of determines what they're actually going to pay. You know, we're part of the negotiation process with the applicant and the client, but you know, we try to bring the best person for the best value to the client, and ultimately it's their decision.
So, Larry, maybe take me through the Norgate triangle, since Adam wasn't here when we were talking about the triangle, and how the triangle relates specifically to the salary range that is being put in place over here. So, like when you're talking about this job at 140, the other job at 75, I would imagine you're bringing different people to that. So talk about it from all 3 different sides of this.
Well, from the client side, the client obviously has a budget that they need to stay within, and typically what the client will do is either they'll do their own research on a particular skill set or a particular, you know, type of role and where it's going to fit in their organization, and they'll come up with a salary range, or they sometimes will ask us. They'll ask us to provide them with industry information. What do we know about this particular skill set? What's it going to pay in New York City? It's going to pay different in New York City than it's going to pay in Florida or North Carolina or one of the lower cost locations that we discussed. So obviously for most positions, the New York City area carries a higher salary with it for the same individual. So the client will obviously come up with a budget, and then we try to identify, we then, our recruiters will go and do searches for individuals that meet those requirements, both from a skill set. Adam is intimate with the client, so he knows the personalities and he knows the kind of profile of people they need, because it's not just the skill sets that get the person the job. They have to have all the soft skills that go along with it, the communication skills and the ability to interact with people, etc. And you know, part of our job is really understanding the dynamics of the client from that perspective as well. Just because the individual has the skill sets doesn't mean the client's going to like that person. They're not going to fit into the environment, etc. Their goals have to be in sync. The kind of
Sort of the
team
chemistry?
they're looking. The chemistry has to fit.
Yes.
A person may fit better on a 20-person team than they would on a 3-person team. There's all those other factors that go into, getting the correct candidate for any position for that matter. So there's the client piece. It's they're providing us the information about their environment, the budget piece, etc. And then it's our piece to identify candidates that are as close as we can to that profile. And like Adam said, it could be an individual with 3 or 4 years experience or an individual with 10 years experience. It could be either. A 3-year programmer can be much more efficient than a 10-year programmer. Obviously, the years of experience do bring other, pieces to the puzzle, but everything is, one more notch on the checklist of what will get that person hired by the client. And then it's our job to do the best we can to identify the people that obviously fit as close to that job, the complete job profile as possible.
So I was able to see like that you have like almost like 2 clients like you're serving here. Like the
100% it's 2 clients.
The employee is like a client, like you, and making sure that because that person is somebody that you're placing a lot of times like multiple jobs, especially on the try-by type situation, a permanent placement. On the permanent placement type situations, while I'm on this thought process, the permanent placement type situations, do those people come back to you often, or do they tend to they become more of a client? But
Both.
Yeah, I would say both actually.
Yeah.
So but you have to. So back on the triangle, you kind of have to learn a lot about both sides of this puzzle. So the longer time that you're working with somebody, the better off it is for the client.
Sure.
And the better off it is for the...
We've placed many individuals 2-3 times over, a 10-year or 15-year
Right.
period.
I would say, and not to interrupt, I would say a lot of our better relationships over the years have come from people we've placed. Maybe they started out at maybe what I would consider a more junior or mid-level type position, and 5, 7, 10 years later they've moved up and now they're in a position where they're hiring when they've come back to us. And you build those relationships over time. You keep those relationships up for many reasons, but those are great relationships where you see somebody moving up in a company. You feel good yourself that you help somebody and they're happy, and they come back and say, listen, hey Adam, I have 2 jobs I need to fill. Can you help me out? Our group's hiring now, and it might have been 5 years ago where I placed that person, or 7 years ago, and it's a good feeling.
And so how do you stay in touch with that person, those people?
Well, like anything, it's phone and email for the most part, and going to see them. And Larry and I actually went 2-3 weeks ago, maybe we went and saw a manager at one of the banks that we've had a relationship for over 20 years, and we went and met him after work, had a drink, chatted for like an hour or so, and he had recently moved after 16, I think, or so years from one bank to a new bank.
And you took the relationship.
And we just take the relationship, and it's it's a business relationship, but you build up a personal relationship to some degree when you're working with somebody or speaking with them over 20 years. You learn about their family and their kids and whatever. It becomes more of a personal relationship as well, which is nice.
So it's a big strength of yours is the fact that you've been in business so long and you have all of these great.
Right. The relationships in sales and obviously recruiting is the bread and butter of the business. It's really it's who we are. It's you're selling yourself in a company, but you're also selling your relationships and you're helping people on both sides. It's just you're a matchmaker, middleman, whatever you want to call it.
It's an intangible service.
So the better you get to know your client and what their needs are in their culture, and the better you get to know your applicants, the better chance, or considering the better fit you're going to have, and better success of placing people.
Do you have any more jobs? Do you have that,
We have
or-
a lot of jobs.
But no, do you have any more jobs to discuss
We got more
today?
jobs. I don't know what to do. Yes, I have a permanent job in Long Island, actually.
Oh, maybe I can apply.
You
Do you
can
need
apply.
somebody who doesn't know anything about technology?
Yes, you'd be perfect. It's in Long Island. It's again, permanent position. The title of the job is a DevOps engineer. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of read down a little bit about the job, and they're really, sorry if I'm looking down a little bit, but they're looking for someone to transition their operations to a cloud environment, basically leveraging full automation technology. Some of the key responsibilities include improving client processes, working closely with the engineering teams, systems performance and scalability, and I guess some of the key qualifications or knowledge that they need to come with. And this isn't all. This is just some key bullet points. Again, Linux, Unix, solid working knowledge of AWS infrastructure, security, VPC, security groups, maybe some scripting skills, some Bash or Python would be a plus. Automation, configuration, management using Puppet, Chef, or similar tools. And that's kind of a quick overview. There's more to the job. Again, you can reach us at 516-248-0444. That's our office number, or adam@norgate.com if you're interested in hearing more about the opportunity, or if you know anybody, if you want to help out a friend or someone that's looking for a job.
And how much does this one pay?
Can't tell you.
So okay, so
I can
basically
get-
anybody, if you want to apply for a job for,
Well, it's also attractive because anybody working in New York City and living on Long Island is dealing with a tremendous crazy scene at Penn Station. The trains are having problems. There's construction going on. The tunnels are having construction. There's basically the commutes have lengthened for most people commuting into the city, at least from the Long Island.
so we're
side
based
of
in Long
Manhattan.
Island here. The company's based in Long Island, right?
This company's
this
based
is
on
the Long
Long
Island
Island.
Tribune. So we're in Long Island. You're in Long Island. Why don't you talk about like the Long Island element of this job, the Long Island element of jobs in general, and companies in Long Island? Why companies in Long Island should be looking to basically partner up with Norgate and to join in with you, and what you were.
We have a lot of clients on Long Island. There are a lot of people now. We've over the last month or two, we've seen an increase in the amount of individuals that are looking to now work on Long Island because of some of the items that we just discussed. The commute is long. There's issues with it now, and
It's gotten worse because of the construction.
It's gotten worse because of the construction, etc.
And they're taking out like some of the LIRR tracks, right?
It's an ongoing thing. So it's an opportunity for Long Island-based employers to maybe capitalize on that right now, and the frustration that obviously their employees that are commuting into the city may be experiencing. There is a lot of technology here on Long Island. Some of the universities produce really good computer science and engineers here on Long Island. And the one issue that people living on Long Island run into is typically the salaries are not at the same level that they would be as those in Manhattan. But I would say over the past year or so, at least in our current client base, our clients here are starting to really, I wouldn't call it stepping up to the plate, but they're reevaluating, and they're putting maybe a higher value on what these resources mean to their organizations, and they are increasing the compensation components at these companies out here, so the employees are it may not be 100% what you're getting in New York City, but it's pretty close, and in some cases it's the same, and you're saving, significant time and quality of life.
Probably a good way to lower your
Quality of
handicap.
life is tremendously increased by reducing your commuting time, being able to just drive your car and park 50 feet from the entrance to your building and walk into your building. So there's a lot of nice, features to that working on Long Island.
Right. And then just not on Long Island, we have a lot of jobs through many states. Not just New York. We're in many states throughout the country, and even jobs in New Jersey. So, quote, being more suburban than New York City, we're also placing people in the New Jersey environment, Connecticut, and in others, what would I consider more suburban locations that people are driving to work instead of taking mass transit. So, it's not just Long Island. It's pretty much around the country.
We're operating, like I mentioned before, in about 18 different states at the moment.
And in terms of jobs in the city versus jobs outside, is it the same level of work that's getting done, or is it like there's a more sophisticated level of work being done
No,
in the
it's
city?
the same.
It's the same work.
It's the same work. It's just moving to either lower cost locations like we talked about before. That's the biggest reason. Clients are pushing the technology resources outside the higher cost city locations, allowing employees to either work remotely or they're actually, moving their complete development organizations to lower cost areas around the country.
Got it.
And if I just want to talk about,
Sure.
we're actually, Norgate itself, we're looking to hire recruiters.
All right. Well, take us through that.
So-
Okay. So what is it? So you're basically now talking about the third part of this triangle. So for those who are new to this, what we talked about earlier today is like a play on the triangle offense. If I recall from one of our earlier things, like you said, the 72 Knicks were one of your favorite teams, Larry.
69, 72.
So Phil Jackson played on those teams,
Much older than I am.
He did.
right? And he's part of the triangle offense. So that's basically this triangle. We basically talked about having the client, the employee, and now Norgate is basically the 3 points of the triangle. So let's dump into what Norgate and what Norgate is looking to do and looking to hire new recruiters. You were saying
We're growing and we're looking to bring in recruiters into our office here. We also have an office in Mumbai.
So here is in Long Island.
Long Island, yeah, Garden
This is-
City in Long Island. Our office here. We're looking to hire people right out of college if they're interested in learning about the IT and technology and recruiting world. We have a great leadership staff. They'll learn.
Are you? So you're looking for people specifically from like graduates now?
Recent graduates, sure.
Are you working with any colleges around here, or?
Yeah.
And Larry was mentioning earlier there are some universities around here. Are there specific? What are some of the colleges that you work with? Or?
Well, we reach out. I mean, we're working with Stony Brook, Hofstra, Delphi, LIU Post, some of the SUNY schools. And these are the local schools in Long Island. And then other schools, even like University of Buffalo and Albany and the New York schools that are maybe upstate or whatever. A lot of the kids or the graduates, the recent graduates are coming home to live with their parents in Long Island, and they're looking for jobs.
Okay.
So
So what kind of jobs are you looking to fill?
we're looking for recruiters. People to come in here and learn the business, learn how to recruit, get on the phones.
Am I allowed to ask what you're paying or not?
I
Not.
don't know.
It depends on the situation. Like this is
Depends
one
on
of
the-
the depends on the individual.
Yeah. The positions are typically salary plus commission based
Got it.
positions.
And how many positions are you looking to fill on this level?
I would say right now, depending on, we'd like to hire if we can find the right people, 3 to 4.
Okay.
Okay, but we're looking for those individuals that have the energy and want to work in a fairly fast-paced environment, have the sales and people skills, and have the desire to learn technology. And like Adam said, we'll train those. We have some really good senior people here that can train those individuals. And we're also looking for experienced recruiters. If people have experience, we'll definitely talk to them as well.
So you're being aggressive because there's business here.
We need to be. We have a lot of jobs. Our clients are anxious to fill the jobs, and we need to increase our resource staff here to keep up with the demand that our current client base is throwing at us, basically.
So basically, if I'm hearing this correctly, those people watching this, if you know people who need jobs, refer them into you.
That would be great.
To work at Norgate or to work at one of your clients, there's
Right.
a lot of job opportunities here,
Mhm.
and that's why you want them to be paying attention to you.
Yep.
Correct.
It's a good opportunity, and that Larry mentioned, established recruiters, that's fine, which is great, if they're currently working somewhere else, looking for a change, want to move back to Long Island, not commute, or, one of those reasons, again, give us a call. Again, but the recent graduates, again, call us.
And you made mention of another place that wasn't, I don't think, in Long Island. Mumbai, is that right?
Mumbai, that's an office we have, yeah.
You have an office, so you're looking to talk a little bit about the Mumbai office.
You want to talk about
Yeah,
that?
we have a recruiting office in Mumbai, India. It's run by an individual that's been with us for many years, and we have a team of recruiters there. We're also adding to that team. In fact, we just hired another individual today to work in that office, and they recruit for New York based, or not New York based, but US based positions. So they follow the sun, as people say. They work from about 3 in the afternoon till the early morning hours, same hours that we're working, our 8 to 6, type hours, and they're recruiting for individuals here in the U.S. for our local positions here in the U.S. They're not recruiting for offshore or overseas.
But they're looking to help you. So you have people outside the U.S. working for you, essentially trying to fulfill positions for the clients in the U.S.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Same as we do out of this office, just we have the second office as well over in India.
So somebody just joined and asked the question, and sort of it's a good point to sort of summarize everything anyway, sort of to tie up this thing. They want to know if Norgate's a company. So why don't you talk about Norgate the company, just sort of summarize everything that we've done over the last 50 minutes in a couple of minutes, and then
Sure.
we'll close up.
As we talked at the opening, Norgate's 24-year-old technology staffing and consulting firm. We do both permanent and contract placement nationally here in the U.S. We've developed a lot of expertise over the years, and a lot of these skill sets we talked about, the skill sets that Adam talked about for particular job requirements that we're searching for our current for a client currently, we're a growing company. We're in an exciting industry. We work with all size clients, like I mentioned, from small startup type organizations to up to the largest banks, financial companies in the country with hundreds of thousands of employees. And anybody who's interested in either a technology type role or potentially a recruiting type of position should contact us.
Excellent. Thank you, and we'll look forward to hearing from you again sometime
Anything
soon.
else you want to add?
No, I'm just excited. Larry and I got to speak with everybody and kind of give you a good overview of Norgate and some of the things we're doing that are exciting in the technology world and staffing industry. And we're going to be here. If you need us, call us. We look forward to working with you and helping any way we can.
All right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're still live here for a minute.